Shirt Show. All right, let's go.
Shirt Show! Talking shirt! Shirt Show! Talking shirt! Shirt Show! Talking shirt! Shirt Show! Shirt, man! All right! Episode 112 of Shirt Show. We're talking with Connor from Disney Screen Printing in California. Let's go!
Hey there, beautiful.
Hey there. Check. We better check. Check.
Check. Hey there. I really miss you. I miss this. I look forward to this all week.
Do you really though? Because
I do.
Well.
Yeah. Just hanging out with you, bud.
Am I too big on the screen? What's going on?
That's never been said to you before.
I made a funny joke the other day.
Doubt it.
When I was at the gym.
Enjoy watching your workout videos on Instagram, by the way.
Yeah. Well, I try until I tell him to like zoom in on the ass. You like
right.
on the booty.
The goods,
you know?
right.
He does sometimes for you. I tell him why.
Yeah. For me.
Just you, like not my other fans.
I saw you went to REI.
Yeah.
That looked fun. What'd you get?
Yeah, so they opened a new one by our house, you know? Just like right by our house. Like you could walk there, but we decided to drive. And the thing about the other REI was like the parking always sucks. And Joanne was saying that like as we were going there, you know, other REI parking sucks. We go to this one, it's like a grand opening, and the parking was like so sucky, like the worst suckage.
Why was it suck? It was just so many people or just shitty layout?
Yeah, they had like a grand opening where, dude, I felt so bad for him because it was like 200 degrees outside, and they had all these tents of all these different vendors, you know? And then there was this one where I won this hat that I'm wearing.
Yeah, I saw.
Do you see it?
Yeah, it's wonderful. I wouldn't have known the answer to that question.
Well, that was the fourth question they had to ask for because I got 3 wrong. They were like, what was it? What is the Missouri state mammal? And I'm like, fuck, I don't know. And they said, oh yeah, she said it's a college mascot. And I'm like, duh, Missouri Tigers. It's not a tiger. It's not a tiger.
What is it?
A mule.
A mule?
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Yeah, it's not anything to be proud of, I don't think. But anyway, yeah, I got this sick hat.
Sweet. Did you buy anything else, or did you guys just browse?
I bought some socks. Joanne bought some overalls. Really nice ones.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Dude, it's storming here.
I wish it's supposed to tomorrow. Thank God, because it's going to push all of this
heat,
insane heat, humid.
Yeah, it's been really hot here,
bullshit.
But it's not as hot as there, I bet.
Well,
what else happened to you this week? How was work?
Work's good, man. Like, we had stuff to print. Pretty smooth. I think, like, got a great team. Like Kyle was running the production. Lauren, Megan up here up front.
Hey.
What, did you lose your internet?
My power went out.
You mean like the whole building?
Yeah.
Oh, is it back on?
It just came back on.
All right.
Hold on, my internet's restarting.
I miss you. I can't see you. Well,
are we still recording or is it not recording anymore?
Yeah, so my end it's recording, it's just only me, but we got your audio, so we can play this whole thing out, just like the drama.
I forgot I could do it from my phone.
Oh yeah, probably.
Let me see if I can hop back in on my phone and I'll hop in on my computer if it ever works out.
Well, we got time. It's fine. Like there's no rush. It's we'll let your internet reboot.
Hey.
So is this your phone or your computer?
Computer. I can hang up now.
All right. Bye.
So yeah, the storming and the power went out, and it'll probably do it again.
Well, now we know what to do. We have a backup plan. We could go 5G.
To my phone.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I have good service here. I should be fine if that happens. So if I do duck out,
All right.
I'll pop back in on my phone.
You look way better this time, though. Like whatever you did, the lighting,
fresh
whatever
internet.
it is. Yeah, you look like you've got a little sun. Like you got some D.
A little bit, yeah. I got D all over my face.
Mm-hmm. You go on some hikes this weekend?
No, I've just been outside. I was at the pool with the kids for a while today. Just going on walks and shit. It's a lot of sun.
Mm-hmm.
I actually am trying to wear no socks today because I have a horrible sock tan. Like straight up white feet with brown legs.
One time, like not too long ago, maybe last summer or the summer before, JoJo and I went to Florida. And we have been to Florida in the spring and in the fall or whatever, winter, but it had been a bit for the summer, and we got the tops of our feet so fucking burnt that like they were swollen. We couldn't even wear shoes like for probably 2 days. You ever have that happen? Yeah. This is going to be fun. Internet's out.
Hello.
Phone's
Thank you
out.
for calling Upstate Merch. If you are hearing this message, it's because we are tirelessly creating some of the best screen printing and custom artwork around. Honestly, the best way to reach us is by email. Please send your questions or concerns to print@upstatemerch.com, and we will get back to you shortly. Thank you.
At the tone, please record your message. When you've finished recording, you may hang up or press 1 for more options.
Hey, yeah, how much for a t-shirt? Or just maybe like 10? How much for 10, let's say, shirts? And I think I'll probably have like 1,000 I'll need maybe in a few weeks. So like if that helps the price or something like that, that'd be cool. If you just want to hit me back. Yeah, right. Thanks. Yeah, cool.
Hey there, beautiful.
Uh-oh. That's your phone.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
See, the power just went out again. It was just back for a second. Now it's out again.
So is that your phone's microphone too then, I guess?
Yeah.
Well, we can do it like this. It's...
Yeah, we can do it like this until it stops storming, and then I'll just hop in the other way. It's good content. I go...
well, that's not good. You're back.
Hey.
this.
You see it
Sorry,
keep
Chad.
flickering on and off here?
Yeah. Wow. So is that does that normally happen? Why is it so sketchy like that?
It happens all the time. It's so shitty here for that.
Are your power lines buried, or are they overhead?
No, they're all in the air, and there's like a million trees, so.
All right. Well, I just left you a message. So, anyway.
Oh.
Do you want to just wait this out a minute? And
I think it's going to go. I think it's going to go by. So we can just finish pregame and do sponsors like this, and then when he comes on, I'll try to switch over.
All right. Well, let's do
right
sponsors.
Now I've got no power, so this is all I got.
Are you ready to go? Like, are you fiddling around with
stuff? Fucking born ready. Let's do it, bro. Frank.
That was so pathetic.
It all starts with a screen.
It does, Dylan. And whether it's new stretches or restretches, Frank and his team do it the best. To find out more, go to graphicscreenfashion.com, FFFFF.
Rank.com.
Or
GreatFuckingScreens.com.
Cleaning screens is no fun, but EasyWay makes it funner. Their line of eco-friendly chemicals will help you keep your screens and your shop clean. Check them out at easyway.com. EasyWay.
It's the easiest way.
Yeah, this is going to be fantastic. Like when we run this back. I love it. Next, we have Action Engineering, and they make all kinds of accessories printers need. Go to actionengineering.com to have a look. And when you're checking out, use code SS07 and you get 10% off. Thanks to Shirt Show.
10%, baby.
Man, we're killing it today. We should do this more often.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Monarch Color has a super opaque mixing system that we both love.
True.
They make ink that does what it's supposed to do. You can learn more at monarchcolor.com. Ink better, print better, be better.
Live Moss.
Monarch.
Can you hear me okay?
I can. And what are you doing right now? I'm just curious. Like you have
I'm sitting on my couch.
Oh, okay. I see.
Next to the window is my little bonsai tree and my little cactus.
And
my taxes from the past 7 years.
Your taxes are in boxes like that?
Yeah, all of my papers, all of my pay stubs, things for all the employees and everything, they're all in these boxes.
Pay stubs?
Yeah,
pay stubs?
Shit I get from the accountant.
I don't know what that is.
Okay, cool.
So next we have Graphic Source. And listen, could your shop use a little or a lot of help in the art department? Either way, go to 1-900hotstuff.com and get in touch with Nick or Lucas. And what's going to happen? What's going to happen when you get in touch with them, Dylan?
They are going to sweet talk you so good. And get you hooked up with your own personal art department.
And apparently, I don't know if this is for the rest of the year or the month of August, you get a free kitten. Like a kitty.
Whoa.
Yeah, you
can
in the
get mail?
Yeah, they'll just ship you a kitty.
Whoa.
I know, it's pretty cool. Who else does that?
Right.
Oh, hey, so you have to get your phone out to the to Chrome Alliance tip of the day.
I think you might have to do it today, but I can't pull it up without fucking this video up.
Really? It's going to require me reading. Are you sure you want that?
I do.
I'll just put my mouth right up here to the mic.
Okay.
Okay, well, this is a good one. I like this. Yeah, this is... Oh, I really like this because this is going to...
Why don't you tell everyone else what it is that you like?
Everyone's going to now know how much better Shirkong is than Upstate. So here we go. You ready? Not all exposure units are created equal. Be sure you are using an emulsion that matches up with the light source you have. A single point metal halide unit will always be the best.
You wrote this fucking copy.
I fucking didn't write this, but it's the most beautiful thing I've read in a while. Where was I? I need to back up. So I want to make sure this is, everybody understands this. So a single point metal halide unit will always be the best and give you the most durable and best resolution possible for any emulsion type. I can read that one more time if you want.
No, I'm good.
Okay. If you have an LED system, you're going to want to throw it away. It's trash.
Okay. Right.
But let's say you decide to keep it. There's no way Chad can keep that part. I'm sorry. I apologize. Here, let's just be real here. So look, if you have an LED system,
throw it in the garbage.
You want to look at something that matches the spectral output closer and exposes fast enough to minimize light scatter. This is a tough one. Photopolymer. You like that? Did I do it okay?
Yeah, you're doing great.
Emulsions work best with LED systems. Okay. Yeah, I'm glad I read that one. Really, this is fate that you have this power outage because Yeah, that was a good one. That was kind of
Right now it's going to come back on. Now that you got that out of the way.
Yep. Yep. Okay, and so look, as always, go to chromaline.com to watch Kevin's videos and learn all about the screen room.
Mm-hmm.
We did it.
Good job.
Okay. Do you want to hear about today's guest?
Oh yeah, I do.
Our guest today is Connor Disney from Disney's Screen Printing in Lakeport, California. He also has a second location in Orlando.
Mm-hmm.
And we have
you're
hung
so
out
funny.
with him. I know. I didn't write that. That was just like spontaneous humor.
Oh yeah, I could tell. Is he here?
Yeah.
Let's bring that son bitch in.
You ready? You need to stretch?
Oh, I do. I'm starting to get a headache.
Your lights back on?
Nope. I'm just gonna walk around. I'm gonna go get a snack. You know, it's nice now that I can just like get up and walk around and I'm not stuck to the chair.
Yeah. Well, you're being really loud
I'm being loud.
and you're breaking up.
You're breaking up. Like my new office fancy table. Look, I got a fake plant and some Werthers.
Is it a coffee table?
It's like it's an old bowling lane, actually. See? It's got the dots.
Okay. Yeah. I do like that.
Yeah.
Okay. You ready to do this?
Let's do this.
Hey guys,
Hey, bud, what's up?
how's it going?
Oh, power's out here.
Oh, that's a bummer.
Yeah, I'm doing this from my phone.
Okay.
So anyway, how's it going, dude? What's up today on Sunday for you?
Yeah, so I just got home from work. I worked half a day today. I run a boat rental company with my family. So Saturday
really?
and Sundays are our busiest days. So I helped get all the morning boats out, and I was able to split at about 1 o'clock to come here and chat with you guys.
You mean like the boats on like the Small World ride, or?
No, so we're not affiliated with Disney at all. My grandparents always said that we were actually like distant cousins or something. But yeah, no affiliation with the Disney.
I don't want to make a bunch of shit jokes about your last name because I've always been the butt of shit jokes with my last name, like Gilligan's Island and like fucking Where's the Skipper and all this other bullshit. But I got thinking about it earlier and I was like, how do you brand yourself with the name Disney? Isn't it like fucking trademarked out the ass? Like,
Yeah, we've done the boat rentals for 40 years. This is our 40th year in business. And the Disney Corporation has never come knocking on our door. I think it's because it's our last name. They can't really legally do anything about it.
I know. Well, that's what I was wondering, is if it's like, well, there's got to be a loophole somewhere because like it's your last name. Like you have to use your name.
Yeah. So it's, I'm still waiting on the day that I get that call from Disney.
So what's the boat rental company called? Is it like Disney Boat?
It's Disney's Boat Rentals. Yep. That's it.
And it's got like the little, like the D, like curlied and everything, just like their logo and everything. That's what you should do. Is it should just be like a big fuck you to that.
Mickey Mouse ears.
Yeah. So the boat business is good then?
Yeah, everything's been good. This year we're in a bit of a drought, so it's been a little bit difficult. But yeah, we always manage. I mean, some years we got wildfires, some years we have the lake floods, and so every year is a little bit different. But we always seem to manage.
Now, what do you guys do with the boats? So is it just boat rental, or is it like charters, or what is it?
Yeah, so it's basically just you would rent the boat for the day. We teach you guys how to drive the boat, all that stuff. And then, you and your family or you and your friends go out on the lake for however long you want to go. You tube, wakeboard, kneeboard, all that stuff. And then, you come back at the end of the day and, go on your way.
Nice. Is that something that's like going to be yours, or is it always going to be a 50-50, like 50% boats, 50% screen printing, or is screen printing just a side thing, or how's that work?
Yeah. So, that's kind of, it's the family business, and that's kind of what I started doing first. So I'm really committed there. The screen printing started out kind of as a side hustle. So actually my mom and dad started a screen printing shop in like 1985, and they ran that for about 20 years until 2005. And then when my brother and I were growing up, going through Little League and stuff, it was a lot to manage with the print shop and the boats and raising kids. So they sold the business. And then we needed some crew uniforms for the boat rentals. And my dad said, hey, I've got an old press taken apart in the garage. It's in a cabinet. And if you want, I could teach you how to screen print our logo on our crew uniforms. And I said, yeah, sure. So I printed that first run with my dad. And, it was definitely probably the worst shirts I printed. But they were wearable and the ink didn't fall off. So we got through that first season. Then my town is so small, just by word of mouth, people have been, coming up to my shop and saying, hey, so-and-so told me you're doing t-shirts. Can you do shirts for, my event or whatever? And just by word of mouth, I've kind of taken it to where I am now, which is, I never thought I was going to get this big or even, take it to where I am now, but it's been a journey. It's been fun.
Right. That's awesome. Is it something where you can play off of both businesses, like for the boat people, kind of promote that you have a screen printing business, or is it, two totally separate things?
It's kind of two totally separate things. Because usually, we have tourists that come up. Most of our tourists come up from the San Francisco Bay Area. We're about a 2-hour drive from there, and people drive up for the day, take a boat out. We have a little gift shop, and I sell some t-shirts with, local designs and stuff. But it's not like, I get a ton of business from our tourists.
Yeah, I was curious because of the whole like gift shop thing. Like I took my family camping at Sampson. It's at the top of Seneca Lake, and there's a gift shop at the campground. And I went in, and like the prints were fucking awful. Like they were so bad. And the hoodies were like $60, and like the tees were like whatever, like $35, $40, and they were like a Port Authority with like a 2-color print on the front. And I was like, dang, man, they're making really good money on these, and they have to be selling them. It's the same thing like my kids, they were ready to go or not ready to leave camp. And we were kind of like, well, we got to get going, but we'll let you stop at the camp store and like get something or whatever. Mm-hmm. So like that has to happen all the time where like people are leaving camp and they're like, oh, we got to get a souvenir or whatever. And then like I said, if it's, busy season or whatever, they got to be selling a decent amount of shirts a day. Like I didn't know if that's something you can capitalize on.
Yeah, a little bit. Usually when people come off the boat, they get off the boat and they'll want to get a t-shirt. So that happens a little bit, but also some people get off the lake and they're sunburned and they're tired and they just want to head straight to their car and head home. So I think I could definitely market it a little bit better, getting our shirts out there a little bit more. We do online reservations for the boating company. So I can maybe add something like, you got your boat rental for all day and you add 2 t-shirts to your rental or, something like that. Might be
just some merch. Yeah. Like throw it in.
Yeah.
Not to bring up the sore subject of Disney, but that's what Disney does.
Yeah. Do they do that?
Yeah. When you do like the, what is it, like the wristband thing and like the passes for the thing, they have a whole side of that business that's get a customized like Disney family apparel. You know what I mean? Like a lot of moms are doing it with like the crickets and stuff, but like they'll do it as well where they're like, oh, if you order these shirts or whatever swag you want or whatever, it'll be in the room when you get there.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So it's kind of the same thing. You could be like, hey, boat rentals, and then also have like, do you want a tee or a tank for the, whatever. And then you could just have them ready when they're there with the boat.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a good idea.
So Connor, I'm looking,
Yes.
I just Googled it and it looks like, I was just curious how how big of a lake this is, and it's not quite the size of Lake Tahoe, but it's really big. It's almost as big. And so, is this a resort community only? And if so, is that most of your business? Is that you're printing for other, like a lot of resort, whether it's hotels or just restaurants and stuff like that? I mean, what's your main client?
Yeah. So, the lake is the largest natural lake in California. We don't have a dam. And it's, we have over 100 miles of shoreline. So it's a pretty big lake. But yeah, my main clientele, so the city I live in, we have 5,000 people. So it's pretty small, compared to, bigger cities that are neighboring me. But there's not a ton of resorts. There's not a lot of hotels and stuff. So I'm still kind of trying to find out who my customer is, if I want to work with the schools or work with, people, out of the area that I don't even really see on a day-to-day basis, that they don't come into my shop or anything. But right now I don't really know who my exact client is, because I have worked with schools. I work with a lot of local businesses, restaurants, but yeah, construction companies. But I don't know, I don't really focus on a certain group.
How are those people finding you? I mean, those construction companies and schools, stuff like that. How do they find you?
Yeah, right now I think it's mostly word of mouth. I'll do one construction company, and then, someone says, "Oh, where'd you get your shirts from?" "Oh, Disney did it." And then they come to me. Mostly, I'd say probably 75 to 80% is all word of mouth.
Now, this is hilarious because, no joke, I was listening to Gary Vee today on some pretty recent episode, and he was talking about wine. That's why I was listening to it. And they just released like 800 cases of this wine. And it's like the first time that they've packaged merch with their sale. And so in other words, like you buy 2 bottles of wine and you get a t-shirt. And I was also looking on here, and by the way, this wine that he was talking about is from Napa, and it looks like you're just a few miles from all of that stuff, like Sonoma and Napa and all of those wineries. Maybe that's your customer. I mean, because, I don't know.
Wineries would be huge. They're just as big as a brewery as far as like selling merch. So
yeah, that's a good thing. I should definitely reach out to some of the local wineries. The climate of Napa Valley is very similar to the climate where I am. So I'm seeing a lot more wineries pop up. Every year there's a couple more wineries. So I think over, the next 10 years, it'll be big.
You have to get in on the ground floor of those people. Like you have to, like, when they first open or whatever, or if they're going to open, you need to hit up whoever's in charge. That's how we've kind of done a couple of the bigger breweries in our area. Is like when they first started, there was like a thing in New York where they basically, made the law that you could start a brewery. Like for a while, there wasn't anything like that. And then as soon as it like opened up, it was like there was 1 million breweries showed up. Mm-hmm. So the same kind of thing. Like if you can get in on the ground floor of those wineries showing up in your area, then you might have a customer for a really long time.
Yeah. Do some of the wineries and print tote bags, a couple thousand tote bags or something, maybe that's a little bit easier than a t-shirt, or I don't know.
Yeah. Andy, this is something I've been thinking about recently, and I've actually been kind of like scouring the internet and getting photos together and stuff. And I think we might have talked about it a little bit before, but what do you guys think of like a brewery or something like that, where they have the possibility to sell a ton of merch, but they might not be merch focused in like having an employee who's like very thinking about merch? Like I feel like breweries can sell a lot of stuff. They just might not have like a good display or a good like inventory system or whatever. Like I've been toying with the idea of like having my dad build displays. Mm-hmm. And then we stock their merch at the place, and then we keep track of the inventory on like Shopify or something. And then when we see it getting low, we'll just take like a new order down and restock their shelves. But it's like a whole like, hey, let's sit down with you guys and design a display. Because I feel like they know they could sell more. They just don't have the time and patience to put into it. And we have the expertise of being able to make the merch and make the display.
Yeah. So
like, why not work together?
I think we've talked about this before. It's been probably a year at least, but that's actually what Chad used to do. Like Chad, when he's editing this, he's going to have a smile on his face because we had this program that almost is exactly what you're describing. So our idea was the same thing. So you're going to approach a winery or a brewery or a restaurant, let's say, that's really popular. And they're really good at doing those things, but let's say they're not very good at t-shirts, right? And so that's what you're really good at. And with like no risk to them, because we were going to, all the risk was going to be on us. We were going to come up with 5 designs, let's say. We were going to print the shirts and stock them at their location on a nice display, and then show up there once a month and count inventory, and then get rid of the least popular design and then replace it with something else, And then
right. But you were hand counting the inventory. You didn't have like a system that you could check like online or anything.
Well, that's also this is the thing. Like we never really developed it, so we got to the point where we ordered we didn't build a display. We found one that was, I don't know, I want to say it was like a couple $100. Basically just the type of, what's that, like black pipe looking, racks you've seen.
Yeah.
Modern looking kind of clothes hanger.
Modern looking. It had some wood on it, I think on the bottom, maybe as a shelf or something. And we were going to, so we bought one and we actually put it and printed something for somebody. Chad will remember this. I just can't remember who. And then it just fell apart. I think it was a COVID thing. That's maybe what it was, is that we started to do this and then everything fell apart and we never pursued it again. But I think it's a really good idea, Dylan. I mean, I'm absolutely 100% positive that it would work. You just have to be able to like iron out the details of it.
I think there's this one brewery that we're like, again, like we started with them when they started and we've been together for a really long time and they do really, really well. And they have like 4 locations now and everything else. And I kind of want to like sit down with them and be like, hey, this is something new I'm trying out. And I know you're like, we've had a couple meetings about like, hey, we should do an online store because they don't have an online store for merch. And like, we're also talking about all this other stuff. And I'm like, what if we just set up the whole thing? Mm-hmm. Like, we'll give you a Shopify. You can scan in all the merch through this Shopify store. That way I can see inventory, everything. And then when it starts to get low, we reprint, we bring it down, we set it up again, and we could even come down and tidy it up every so often and make sure everything's like good to go. And then, figure out some kind of pay thing with it. But I wouldn't even care if it was just me being able to print more merch for them, not necessarily make money on like doing the display stuff. Because for me, I know for a fact they could sell way more merch than they sell now. And they sell a fuckload of merch if it was displayed well in every location.
Yeah, that's a good point.
So
I like it.
I feel like they just don't know what they don't know. You know what I mean? Like they're trying to run a brewery, like a popular brewery. They're not thinking about, like, they're making money hand over fist in like the beverage market. They're not thinking about like selling a t-shirt.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that logistically it would probably take some doing. You would have to have a team. It's not for us anyway. I don't have anybody that can even do that right now to actually physically go out to a location and restock and stuff like that. We don't have anybody.
I just feel like it's one of those things where I wouldn't mind taking it on as a project and get it up and running and get it working good with them. And then I can hand it off to an employee or hire someone new and be like, hey, you're in charge of this from here on out.
Yeah, I get 3 or 4 or 5 locations and that could be their job, kind of going around each location, checking, stocking, and, tidying it up and, seeing how it's working for them.
Definitely worth someone's payroll at least.
So Connor, I saw that you finally got a auto.
Yes, I did. I made the jump.
So how's it going?
Yeah, it's been a good learning curve, quite a bit different than printing manually. But yeah, it's definitely been a time saver. Between managing my boating business that I'm working there 5 days a week. And then doing screen printing on the evenings and mornings and my 2 days off. It makes it doable where I can print 200 piece order, in a lot quicker time than on the manual. So I went with the smaller footprint to fit it in my garage, and yeah, it's been working out really well.
So that's where your shop is. It's a garage shop, you're saying?
Yeah. So I started at my parents' house about 3 years ago, and during that process, I was in the process of building my own house, and so when I was designing my house and building it, I said, I want a bigger garage. I want as big of a garage as I can afford, so I can have my print shop kind of at my house, for the next few years. So yeah, it was nice when I was designing the house. I had them install a bunch of different ventilation fans and stuff. One right by my washout booth, and then all my power and stuff. Unfortunately, I couldn't get through 3-phase out here because I'm in a residential area. But yeah, having a big garage was one of the main things I was looking for.
Now, how well did you do with planning versus what actually happened and what needs to happen? Did you do good? Like you were like, oh, all your outlets are in a good spot and everything's good, or what?
Yeah, I mean, I could definitely look around and change a few things around. One of the main things being, I didn't think I was ever going to get an auto, or at least within the next, 3 or 5 years. I thought I was going to be a manual for a while. So I didn't even think about putting an auto in here. So right in the middle of my shop, I have a bunch of posts that go up and down. So when I was working with getting the auto, trying to find the right footprint, that's one of the stumbling points. Especially with the Diamondback. So I have a Diamondback 6-color 8-station. And the screens slide in from the back. So I had to really make sure I was away from the wall enough where I could slide a screen in,
Right.
and just kind of strategically plan that a little bit.
So you were one of those shops where you're not necessarily trying to grow. You're just trying to make it more efficient so that you have more, well, you can get more done in less time so that you can focus on the boating business and your side hustle.
Definitely. So I would like to grow, as big as I can while still maintaining my other full-time job. So that's kind of a stumbling spot for me because the screen printing has taken off quite a bit more than I thought it was going to, which is good.
Mm-hmm.
It's all good. But right now I'm just working by myself. I have no employees.
So
I'm really trying to figure out how to do that.
Why are you still 1 foot in, the family business and 1 foot in the side hustle, or maybe even sounds like probably more even in the family business? Are you able to find somebody to replace you in the boating and Disney? What's it called? Disney boating rentals? Disney boat rentals?
Disney's boat rentals. Mm-hmm.
Is there someone that can then, pick up and do things, whatever your role is, so that you can transition over to screen printing full time?
Yeah, that would be something to look into. Right now, I haven't really thought about that a whole lot, just because. So there's five owners at the boat rental shop right now. My mom, dad, and uncle started the business back in 1983, and they're just now transitioning out of the boat rentals. They're trying to take more time off and travel a little bit more. So right now, it's just me and my brother working at the boat rentals kind of full time. And we have seasonal employees. We have about a crew of about 15 to 20 people on each year. So
how many boats do you have?
Yeah, so we have 10 pontoon boats, 6 ski boats. What else do we have? And about 8 wave runners, and a bunch of kayaks and paddle boards and all that stuff. So it's a decent sized marina. It's pretty big for 2 people to manage.
Yeah. And you guys are busy with that kind of stuff? Like seems like it'd be a popular thing, especially in the summer.
Yeah. So the summer, so we're a seasonal business. We operate from March until about October every year. So I can really focus on my screen printing in the wintertime. I can really crank out those big jobs and stuff, and it's a lot easier to manage. But in the summertime, especially in the months of June, July, and August, those are our top 3 months. I'm trying to figure out how to manage it all, which is it's a little bit difficult trying to manage 2 full-time jobs.
Yeah. What do you, and you're not going to hurt anybody here's feelings, but what are you more passionate about? Are you more passionate about the boat stuff or about screen printing?
Right now, I'd say screen printing's really got my attention, especially with the fact that I'm kind of growing pretty quick.
Well, and it's yours, you know what I mean? It's solely you, and you're growing it and you're doing it.
Yeah. That's the one thing I always talk to my brother, at work every day. And, I tell him, when I make a decision down at the boat rentals, I have to talk to him, my uncle, my mom and dad. And, with the screen printing, it's like, if I want to get an auto, I just pull the trigger and get an auto. I don't have to, really think about it.
Mm-hmm. So that's what I'm wondering. I mean, it seems like you want to have the diversification that you have. Like you're in 2 totally different spaces, and you can be profitable and make money doing both. And I don't think you should give up one or the other. It's hard enough for a lot of screen printers, especially kind of like a one-man show, to handle the one-man show. Mm-hmm. But you also have like a full-time job, fucking 9 to 5 on a family business that you still have to be the owner basically, or the manager, and then come home to a growing screen printing shop. Like, it seems like, do you have a regular life outside of that? Or?
Not really. No, it's 8 days of work, 8 days a week I'm working right now, which is a little bit difficult with, trying to find time to do things that I want to do. So I think right now what I would to, alleviate some of the pressure and stress is to hire someone to just do my printing. I can get a job set up or 2 jobs set up and have them just come in, print the job.
So I was thinking like along those same lines. However, you're out of your house. And so are you limited? Like, who could come to your garage? Let's say, so let's say you have to hire somebody, or let's say you decide to hire somebody. They come in and you leave, like you actually go to the lake, right? And so you're not even in your house. And so that person, not only do you have to trust that person to run your shop, but they're also going to be at your house, so it's sort of complicated. And so I was thinking to myself, okay, well, do you do that, or do you hire somebody to do what you do at the marina? You know what I mean? And then you do the printing or whatever you're doing, at the shop at home. So that's kind of tough.
Yeah, it's really tough. When you had an auto in your garage, is that right, Andy?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Did you ever have an employee come over to your house and work while you weren't there, or would you have someone come over and work alongside with you?
Definitely. So I had several. It's illegal. It was illegal. Like I wasn't allowed, or I think there was some sort of like, I don't know, you could have, every city is different, but the city I was in at the time, I could occupy, it was something like 400 square feet out of my house or something to be a business. We never had a sign or anything like that. We got away with so much because we were on a dead end. But I had probably 2 people in production and 1 designer. And the designer was actually in our house, not in the garage. They were inside.
In your living room eating Doritos on your couch.
Because, and I became, we became friends, so it was fine. Like it didn't, it's not like now where it has to be more professional, I guess, and so it was just a whole different vibe. But I think that to answer the question, no, I don't. I was almost always there. Like I can't remember ever not being there. If I did leave, it was just for an hour or something at the most. Maybe I had to go wash some screens or something like that. You know what I mean? So no, they were, and it wasn't like I didn't trust them. It's just that, I don't know. I'm at my house, and so it's sort of, it just adds this whole nother level of, it's just tricky. And so,
well, you also said that it's growing. Is there decent real estate near you where you could just not have it at your house and have its own shop?
Yeah. That's something I want to look into. I think I would like to keep it, at my house as long as I can until I kind of outgrow it. just so I'm not, printing to pay the rent on the space or whatever. I want to, still be profitable if I move to a different location. And I when I built the shop down here, I have, it's about 1,500 square feet. So it's, I can fit a decent amount of stuff in here, but, it's something to look into.
So how's things right now then? Like you were saying, you're working both jobs and all this other stuff, but also right now we're dealing with like pandemic aftermath and shortages and ups and downs. Like I know for me, this year has been super fucking weird. Like here we are in like middle of summer and I'm kind of like, we have work, but I'm not slammed. Like last year I was probably 4 weeks out right now. Like, are you feeling that with both businesses, or is one not like kind of recession proof? It seems like people don't give a fuck and they would go to the lake regardless.
Yeah. I think.
But with screen printing, are you seeing dips or are you okay?
Right now the screen printing is doing pretty good. I did notice a dip in the month of July. And when I listened to your guys' episodes, when you said you guys were slow too, I was like, oh geez, I'm glad it's not just me. I'm glad there's other people out there that are slow right now. So that was weird because I think the previous year, July was pretty, a little bit better than this year. And so I'm just trying to slowly grow, each month a little bit better than the previous year. And I think I'm on track. I'm doing a little bit better than last year, which is good. And the boating business is, it was the weirdest thing with the pandemic. We were the busiest we've ever been. I think because people were trying to stay local and they were trying to not fly anywhere and, stay within a couple hours of home. Well,
they didn't have to go to work either. So they were like, well, I guess I'll go to the lake. It was the same with like Home Depot and shit. Like they were out of everything because everyone was doing DIY home projects. It's like they had nothing else to do. So like that's what's cool that I see that you have going on, and I'm kind of envious. Is like me and Andy have talked. I mean, we were talking about opening a fucking gas station.
All kinds of things. Yeah, that's one of the things.
Yeah, it's just like I want to have something. I want to start a business or put my money in something that's like totally unrelated. Like something where like if screen printing goes to hell, I still have this thing, or I have 5 things or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, you can put your money in real estate like everyone else. That's fine. But like, I kind of want to do a business that's like have that spirit of like starting over and doing like all the learning and from scratch and fucking up and starting over thing. Like I kind of want to do that all over again.
Yeah, that's a good way to diversify yourself. If you got a lake near you, you should start a boat rental business.
I do have a lake, but unfortunately it's owned by the Army Corps and they won't let you do anything on it.
Oh, gotcha.
I think I like the idea of you staying put, like, so in contrast to Bob, who we talked to, I don't know, a couple of weeks ago. So we were sort of like, he's in his basement and he can't put an auto down there, right? So he's sort of like, hey, if I need to automate, I can't be here. I have to actually get a shop. Where in your circumstance, you've got an auto, yours is in the garage. And so you have it set up. I mean, I was in my garage for a little over 5 years, not with an auto, but I had manuals for 3 years.
The thing is he kind of cheated the system.
Who did?
Like he didn't put a screen printing shop in his already existing garage. He built the fucking garage for a screen printing shop.
You're saying it's add-on, or it's not attached to your house?
No, it is. It's so basically the house, the footprint is 1,500 square feet. So I made the whole bottom of the house just a big garage. It's about
it's like a walkout or something, you're saying? Okay.
Yeah. So it's kind of built into the hillside and the house is on top of it.
Yeah, but that's what you were saying is that you were working out of your parent. Like you're basically already in the second phase of your growth where you moved out of your parents' house and instead of going into like another space that you're leasing, you basically were already in the plans of building your own home and you were like, all right, well, I'll make the garage my shop and I'll plan out my electrical and my plumbing and everything. So like you're in that second phase. You're not, I mean, technically you're still home, but like you built a fucking shop. Like you have that, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think the only thing that you can't do, or the thing that's bothering you, is that you don't want to hire people to work out of your garage.
Yeah. Yeah, that's definitely it. I don't necessarily want to have anybody here that's not, you know, like my best friend or something. So,
right.
But it's kind of nice because I'm trying to possibly recruit some of the employees from the boat rental business. I'm saying, hey, what are you guys doing in the fall? Like, you want to learn how to print some t-shirts? I can, you know, so I'm kind of figuring out who might be able to help me out based on where their skills are at the boat shop.
Is that a good way to shoot yourself in the foot, though? Because if you piss them off in the screen printing side, then they're not going to want to work for you at the boat place.
That's true, huh?
Well, so don't
I guess
piss them
I'll
off.
have to train them to be an excellent screen printer, and they will probably never go back to the boat rental.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know. If I were you, I would stay put. I like the idea. I mean, you just got the auto, you just installed it in there. Yeah, sure, you can't really hire somebody, or maybe you could find the right person that could be there without you being there. I mean, that's possible. But I would stay there, especially knowing what's about to happen, or not knowing what's happening with the economy in the second half of the year. You could just kind of do a wait and see thing. I mean, just like you said, your busiest times are right now. Maybe you've already thought all this through, you know, and you're just like, yeah, guys, I got it figured out. But I like the idea.
Yeah, but we're trying to work through it so everyone else who's listening can work through it for their own shit.
Right.
So
yeah, so maybe you stay there. You slow down at the end of the summer with the boat rental, and you're able to get away more. And you can work in the off season to just grow your screen printing side of things. I don't know how much you could grow it, but you could spend, you know, a lot of that time in marketing and things like that. And so, and then see where you're at in 2023, you know, when it gets busy again, and then maybe make a move or something like that. But I'd be happy like with what you have right there. Sometimes I wish I were back, you know, in the garage and just in those days without a $3,000 plus $3,000 power bill and then all those other things, you know what I mean? And so like,
yeah,
it's not so bad. And I think, especially being in a basement, you know, like, cause it's probably kind of cool down there, or cooler.
It's today, I think the high is about 103. And in the shop down here, it's about, I think 78 or 79.
There you go.
So it's pretty nice compared to outside.
Mm-hmm.
And
you said you're in a hill too, right? So that's gotta help.
Yeah. It's so when I bought the property, it was a pretty hilly lot. So I had to excavate quite a bit, and doing so, I had a big cement block wall, and it kind of acts as the perfect insulator for the summertime.
I was going to ask, because you sort of hit on it a minute ago, and that is, I had two things. One, what was the hardest thing to learn going from manual to auto? And then two, what's the biggest tip, since you just went through it, like the biggest tip, you know, like during the transition?
Yeah. So I think the hardest part was, and I'm still learning all about it, but just the setting up, going from, you know, slapping ink on a screen, grabbing a squeegee and start printing shirts, to now, you know, figuring out the right pressure, the right speed, you know, making sure the flood bar is just barely off the screen so it doesn't double image. A lot of those things I had a little bit of a difficulty with. So I'm still, I mean, basically right now, it doesn't matter if I have a 12-piece order or, you know, a 200-piece order. I'm trying to put everything on the auto, just so I can have the practice of, you know, using it, getting used to it.
You're never going to go back.
Yeah. That's what I hear. I hear, you know, once you have the auto, just to stick with it.
Especially once you get like are using like Trilock and all that stuff.
Not yet. No. So the exposure unit I have is a basic. It's a small 20 by 24, just barely big enough. It has one of those foam pads that you kind of clamp down. So
you
when I
need
got the
enough
auto, I didn't even think about the bigger screens and not being able to expose it properly. So I kind of got a janky setup. I have like a piece of aluminum that I set on top of the foam, and I put 2 gallons of ink, and I kind of compress it. And it's definitely less than ideal. So I think the next piece of equipment I want to invest in is a different exposure and a tri-lock.
Yeah. I'll be selling a Starlight here pretty soon, so I'll hit you up.
Okay. Yeah, that sounds good. I got my auto through Dave and Brian McLean, and I have Dave kind of looking for me. I said, Dave, anytime you see like a tri-lock or a nice exposure unit, let me know. Because he's kind of local. He lives a little bit south of me, so I try to call him once every couple of weeks and see if he's found anything.
How has that been? So you got something refurbished from them? Is that what you got?
Yeah, so I got it used. I was thinking, do I buy it new? Do I buy used? And I figured, this seemed like a pretty good deal. And just so I got it through them, and they gave me a nice kind of warranty on it. If anything breaks within a certain amount of days, they'll help me out. So I knew I was getting a quality unit. I didn't want to buy some used thing that was sitting in a crate. So working with them was pretty easy.
So how long did it take from like buying it to having it running at your place then?
So I got it probably about 3 weeks from when I got it to having it installed and up and running.
I'm so jealous of that.
Yeah, it worked out pretty good. The shop that I got it from was getting a new auto. So they had the tech out there. They uninstalled the old auto, this one that I have, put their new one in. They shipped it out here. And then I had to get a tech up here, installed it in about 1 day, and taught me how to use it a little bit, and said, kind of good luck. Here you go. It's difficult because I'm about 2 or 3 hours away from the closest tech. So having them come out here is, kind of pricey to have them teach me all about it and stuff. So I tried to absorb as much as I could when he was out here installing it. And then, I'll give them a call every once in a while if I need, some questions or whatever.
So did they refurbish anything? Did they replace any parts, or you just straight up took it apart they disassembled it and then reassembled it?
As far as I know, I think they did some kind of maintenance on it when they took it apart. I'm not sure exactly what they did, but they said that they kind of tuned it up a little bit and then shipped it out here. And yeah.
Was there anything in that process that you weren't ready for or you didn't think of when you got it, as far as like power or chiller or air compressor or anything?
The one thing I didn't really plan for was my compressor. Like I said, I didn't know I was going to be in my new house with the auto. And being in a residential area, I don't want my compressor outside. If I'm printing at 10 o'clock at night, I don't want my compressor kicking on every 5 minutes or whatever. So I didn't really plan for that. So I had the compressor in the garage. And then that started to be a little bit difficult because I didn't buy a nice, rotary screw. I got kind of just the Ingersoll Rand that would do the job, but it's pretty loud. So I didn't plan that well for that part. But my he's pretty handy. So he said, we can do some framing. We can make a little building inside your building, and we can make a soundproof box. And so he really helped me out with making it a little bit quieter. And I got, a ventilation fan that goes in there and some filters to, get, all the air out and stuff. And it's pretty good. And I kind of worked with, what I had on that part.
If you had to do it all over again, would you change anything?
I might make like a specific room for the compressor, like a small, like actually framed into the house, for the compressor, or better yet, maybe put it outside and make it like a soundproof box on the outside of the house. Plan that way a little bit. but for the most part, I'm pretty happy with that.
For the amount of money to build a room and do all that, you could have just got the rotary screw and it would have been quieter anyway.
I know. I looked at some of those new ones and it was a pretty price tag on those. So I decided to go with the cheap route for now. But how's your compressor working out? I saw you just got a big, nice compressor.
It died 5 days in.
That's not good.
I called Ingersoll and they kind of like wouldn't answer my question. They were just like, yeah, we'll send out a tech. The guy was here probably 2 minutes. Like he came over, opened the side of the cabinet, like literally like smacked the side of the motor. And he's like, yeah, it's this part. He's like, he's like, to be honest with you, we kind of knew these were faulty in these new units. And we were just kind of hoping it wouldn't go bad. And I'm like, well, that's fucking cool. Like,
yeah. Someone that relies on compressed air, you probably should have sent out some kind of notice or something.
Right. Well, the thing is, they were trying to get away with it because the thing is, they made a new version of that part to put in to fix the problem, but they don't have any because of the shortages. Like they're back ordered. So they're still selling the compressor with the shitty part in it, knowing full well that it's shitty and could break, and just hoping they can get by until the new parts come in. So the dude like told me this, which was funny to me. Like, why would you fucking tell me this?
Yeah.
So he like took the part off and like cleaned it, lubed it, put it back together, and it's been working ever since. He's like, you should be fine until the new part comes in, hopefully. But like literally that moment I called, I went online to Home Depot and ordered like a, whatever it is. I don't even know. It's a Husky, 12 CFM or something air compressor to where if we have jobs that have to get done, I can hook it up to a press and like get some jobs out the door.
Mm-hmm.
So, couple things. One, I'm sorry because I recommended this, not that actual compressor, but the brand. And number two, I guess, is that it didn't die. I mean, that was a little bit of an exaggeration. It stopped working.
Well, it's dead to me if it doesn't fucking work.
But it didn't like die, like you had to throw it away, and so you got this other part. My question to you is that when it's almost like, it sounds like it's a recall, are they going to give you, once that new part comes in, are they going to swap out the part, like no charge, the new part and the labor and all that?
Yeah, they're going to, well, I mean, it's fucking 5 days old. So they're going to come out and they're going to swap out the part. I mean, I paid $15,000 for the air compressor.
Yeah.
Like they better fucking send someone out to fix it.
So, I mean, it's under
the funny part is I pulled an Ingersoll Rand out of there that I've been running strong for the last 13 years and replaced it with a brand new one with all these like fancy gadgets on it and energy efficient, blah, blah, blah. And that fucking dies 5 days in.
Yeah. Well,
yeah, it's a bummer.
The other thing, I guess the final thing is that we did what Frank told us to do like last year, and that is have a backup compressor, and so both you and I bought a similar style compressor that if this happens again, we can run a press or two or whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, like I said, I ended up running to my house and I had this like little, like, I don't even know what it is, like 2-horse air compressor that I used to literally pump like bike tires up and lawnmower tires and like shit at home. And I brought it down and I hooked it up to the Sportsman and it ran a lot, but it did shut off. Like it didn't like fucking burn the motor out. But like we had 2 or 3 jobs that had to go out that day. So I brought the air compressor down, hooked it up. We printed those jobs and it went out. But like I said, it was just like not having that bigger backup really kind of screwed us. Not only did it like for me personally, like suck because we were down, but like, what about all the employees that were here that were like, I guess I can go home. But the thing is like, I told them like, I'm covering today. Like it's a paid day. So like, I couldn't do, I mean, I could, but like, I don't want to do that for a week where I'm like, all right, you guys just have a free paid week vacation because I don't have an air compressor. That sucks.
Yeah. Well, that's good to know that you can use a little one. You can use a little one in a pinch. I didn't even know that. I thought I had to have a certain amount of CFM to even run it. So that's good for me to know. I can pick up a cheap one.
You need enough air for sure, but realistically, like the Sportsman says it's like 9 CFM or whatever. But that's also rated at like if every head, like if you're printing an 8 color, you know what I mean, at full speed and everything.
Definitely.
I was doing like a 2 color print, like slowly.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it definitely worked, but like I said, it kicked on probably every spin to catch up. But I would just, like I said, I would recommend to anybody to not just have, you have to have basically 2 of everything. Like the only thing I don't have 2 of is an eye image, which is also terrifying too. And I've had that where like it goes down and you're like, I guess we could print films, but I also don't have like glass on my exposure unit and, you know, all these things. So like we made it work before, but it sucks like not having a backup system, especially when you have a good amount of employees.
Yeah, I'm sure it's got a little more stress on you than, you know, if my compressor goes out.
Like I said, I'm not concerned necessarily with the workload or with getting things done. I'm more concerned with the employees coming in and staring at you and they're like, what the fuck? Like, what do you want me to do now? Yeah. And I'm like, I guess you guys can go home. So I don't know. But what's next for you, man? What's next for the shop, I guess? Yeah,
I think I'm just going to try to consistently grow year to year without going too crazy. Trying to find someone that I trust that, you know, will be able to run the auto if I teach them and stuff. Right. I think I messaged Andy about, I was possibly going to do a 5,000 piece order contract. Someone sent me an email and I said, can you do 5,000 pieces? And I said, I got an auto. I can do 5,000 pieces. And that was a little bit scary for me because I have no employees and I've never done 5,000 pieces. But, you know, I messaged a few people and asked what they suggested I do. And they said, you know, get someone at the end of the dryer, get someone to help you with, you know, just moving stuff around and, you know, just get it done. So. Yeah, it's almost harder to move everything around and do the folding and, you know, sorting than it is to actually print the job. Yeah. Just trying to find enough room for 3 pallets and, you know, moving it around and doing the front and then storing them somewhere and then doing the neck tag. I was, you know, it was going to be a bit of a project for me, but I was ready to take it on. Unfortunately, my price was a little bit too high, but I told myself from the get-go, I said, you know, I got to make a decent amount on this. I'm not going to go crazy, you know, staying up all night to get this order out if I'm not going to make a decent amount per shirt. So I stick true with my pricing and they didn't want to go with it. So, you know, but now I have the experience, you know, I know what to do and how to do it. Right. Yeah, that's the sad thing with a lot of that stuff is they're really shopping for the lowest price. Yeah. He asked me a couple of times, you know, can you take a little bit off? So I adjusted a little bit. I tried to help out if I could. And then I started quoting or I called multi-craft and I said, how much is the ink going to cost? And then I was kind of surprised on how much all the ink would cost. So I kind of had to factor that into my price. And, but yeah, just at the end of the day, it was kind of like a relief a little bit. I didn't have to manage 5,000 pieces. But then again, it was a little bit of a bummer because I was looking forward to it. Mm-hmm. You know, I kind of ran into that a little while ago where me and Andy both got offered to do Hot Market. And when I came to terms with the fact that I was just going to tell them no, I felt relief. I was like, yeah, I'm just not going to do this. Like, I don't want to. And then me and Andy both had a blood pact where we like cut our hands and like shook on it and said like, we're going to go down together. And then when I said no, he took the job anyway. You said Hot Market. Is that when, you know, you don't know what you're going to print until, you know, a couple hours before? Or is that? Well, you know what you're going to print. It's just you don't know if you're going to print it at all because they need to win. Yeah. So, and then Andy's team didn't win, so he had to send it all back. But well, how does that work for you, Andy? Do you have to pay restocking fees on that, or do you have how does that work if you have all these garments getting ready to print and then your team loses and you don't have the job, or how does that work?
Well, a couple of things. The story didn't happen exactly like Dylan just told it, which most of those stories are embellished, so I'm sure everybody already knew that. But the how that works is well, one, they weren't my shirts, they were Nike. It was for Fanatics, I guess I can say. It's not a big deal. And so a lot of people have been approached by Fanatics if you're in a major city that has a major league team, right? You're approached by Fanatics most of the time, and you fill out like a shop DNA that says you have docks and you have this many presses with this many heads and all this kind of stuff. And we did that. And, so they delivered the shirts here, and, we set up 3 or 2, I can't remember. We set up maybe 2 presses and had the team ready and practice and all that sort of stuff, and got it approved. And if they were to lose, you're paid. There's a fee schedule that says, okay, we pay you for each press setup, and we pay you for the screens, and we pay you for unloading, the trucks and then loading back on to the trucks. And so it's not like a lot of money or anything, but you get like your costs back. Like we didn't lose anything, if that makes sense. But I almost sort of like what Dylan said, it's a bit of a relief in that instance, only because with that one, we were printing overnight. It was, it was a Super Bowl. And basically when the game's over, you go and fire up the press and start printing. And that's kind of fun. And everybody was down. I had, I think 14 or 15 people down to do it. And we were getting ready, like we were on a group chat, group text, and we were waiting for the moment. And what that was going to do though, is like totally fuck our Monday, because basically you're printing all night, through the night, and you finish, I think it's like at 6 a.m. or whatever it was, Sunday night. And then you're basically not running normal production on Monday. And so you've got to, think to yourself, am I making double what I would normally make in a shift, or at least a lot more? Or why even bother? Just like run it why don't we just come and run the normal shift? You know what I mean? And so it was fun. I think that's why people wanted to do it, is because it was just something different. And it sounded kind of fun. And so we went for it, and it happened to be that the team lost. And so, we learned, just like you said a minute ago, though, we learned a whole lot, because, we had set up for it. We worked with Fanatics, and they were great to work with. And we got a new ink in here. We actually moved a press, because of it. It forced us, sort of like when you're having company and you clean your house, you sort of just get ready for it. That's what we did. And so it made us better. And so I regret it zero. I took a shot at it, and I thought it would be cool, and it didn't work out. We have had hot market printing though, when it did work out. And so it's just that one didn't. And Dylan, I'm sorry for, breaking our blood pact on that one. And
you didn't. I'm just being a dick.
You can, find me out on my yacht, and one day, and just be standing there and just like waste me. I deserve it.
Right.
I betrayed you.
Right. That's okay. I'll decide to save you.
You'll spare me.
Dylan, have you done hot market stuff like that before? Have you done anything like that?
We've been asked 2 or 3 times, because in New York there's a couple of teams that, like, I'm kind of in the middle. So like there's like New York City, Buffalo, Syracuse, all this stuff. I've turned it down every time. The reality is like, I'm just not, like, I could do it. Like Andy said, you could do it for the fun and for the experience and for the, I could say and hang a shirt on my wall that says I printed for the Super Bowl or whatever. That's all cool. But like in reality, I'm not set up for it, because it's not just take the shirts out of the box, put them on a cart, print them, put them back in the box. It's like, you have to literally like sticker them and then like fold them by a certain amount per box that they want and all this other stuff. And it's just like I said, the logistics of getting them in, putting them out, sorting them, all this other stuff. Like, we're not set up for that. And like I said, we could do it, but with the money that they were offering, like they were basically just like, hey, we need this, and this. It's going to be an 8-color print, and you got to put these holographic stickers on and all this folding and all this other stuff. And they're like, well, what we're going to do is we're going to give you, I don't even remember what it was, like $1.50 a shirt total. And I was just like, nah, dude.
Not worth it, yeah.
no thanks.
That was his reply in the
and then
email. Nah, dude.
Yeah.
And
I
then
have
at the
no
end of
problem
it,
saying, nah, dude.
do you have to have it like, do you have to have a driver there and you actually like drive them to the event, or how does that?
They have like a truck driver that like shows up at a specific time.
It's super pro. Like they have it all worked out. So there was actually going to be 2.
Yeah, they're really good at it, and like they have it down to a science. But I'm just saying, like for us, the manufacturer, it's like, hey, you're gonna make $1.50 a shirt, but you're gonna have 15 employees here and ready, and like Andy said, work through the night, and then your whole day of normal production where you would make profit
just screwed up. Yeah. Everyone's schedule is messed up.
Yeah, it throws everybody off for the week, and you have to, like, Andy fucking moved to press. Like, I'm just saying, like, there's a lot of stuff where you're like, holy shit, I got to get this done. And you're really, we could make $1.50 a shirt and be like, oh my God, it was 15,000 shirts. But it's like, cool, I could do a couple hundred shirts per job for the day the next day and make $6-7 a shirt and be just as profitable. So
yeah, and at the time though, it came at a perfect time of year for us, because it was whenever the Super Bowl is, January, February, wherever we were slowish, and so like we had room to print it, and so it was like it was a good thing. It wasn't like we were in overtime a month out, or anything like that at that moment. So there was a lot of reasons why
I can complain all I want, but in reality, like, I just wish the money was a little bit better. I would have done it because of the experience. Like, I would like to hang up a shirt on my wall that says, like, I did a Buffalo Bills shirt for the Super Bowl, whatever. Like, I would like that. Like, I'm not knocking it. It's just, I think at that time, I just made that decision of, like, I can't. Like, I don't want to. Like, I want it for me as an owner, but the employees don't want to work from fucking midnight to, 9 a.m. or, whatever it is, 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. or whatever it was going to be.
I asked them, they were pretty stoked. Like they wanted to do it. Like
you
I
did like a sign up sheet or something.
Yeah.
Didn't you?
Yeah. I mean, I think that's a good way to do it.
I think you got to have your whole team behind you. You can't just do that and like, require people to come in, because then, no one's going to like that. But if, you have a sign up sheet and people are stoked to do it, then, that's pretty cool.
All right.
I think I could have had them do it. Like, they would have willingly came in and do it. And we've had that with the band stuff before, where I turned something down and I told one of the employees like what band it was for, and they were like, "Are you fucking kidding me? I would have came in all weekend and printed those." And I'm just like, "Yeah, dude, like that's cool, but it's not really worth it sometimes."
Yeah.
Well, Connor, do you have any questions for us?
Yeah, I wrote down a few. Tried to come up with a list. My first question, and I don't know if we kind of answered it already or not, but if you guys could go back in time and you were a shop my size, solo employee working at your garage, what would you do different, or what would you do, moving forward in my position?
Andy?
Me first?
I can go if you want.
Yeah. Let's hear what you would do, Dylan.
I'm different in the fact of I never was the main printer ever. When I started Upstate, I may have printed a couple times, but I was always the office sales guy. So when I first started Upstate, I was a partnership. Because when I had planned to do Upstate in the beginning, I was planning on doing all the printing and doing all the sales and doing the whole thing by myself. But when I was in Georgia, there was a guy who I was buddies with, and I was like, "Hey, I'm going to go do this thing." And he was like, "Hey, I'm not tied to Georgia. If you want a printer, like I'd be happy to move and like print for you." And I was like, "Fuck yeah, that sounds awesome. Like I can keep doing what I'm good at, and like you can do what you're good at, and so on." So that's what I did to start. It was me doing sales and him printing. And, luckily I got a couple people trained in that time span to where when he left, I had people to continue printing for me. So my entire existence here, like I know how to print. I study the industry. I study everything. I love to learn all this stuff. I just don't physically stand out on press and print all day. Like if I have someone out sick or whatever, like I can hop out and print jobs. Like that's fine. But like it's not my day to day. So I think if I was in your shoes or if I had to go back, I would probably focus on what I knew I was good at, which would have been like the office computer sales stuff. And I would hire someone to run production when I was home. I agree with you. It sucks to have people there when you're not there. Mm-hmm. The biggest thing that freaks me out is them burning my house down.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like legit. Like that's not a joke. Like I don't want some asshole just working for $15 an hour and they burn my fucking house down. Mm-hmm. So I think if I would, like I said, I would set hours. I would be like, this is my job on, even if it was nights and weekends, I'd be like, all right, I'm working from 6 to 9 tonight. Joe Schmo comes and works with me from 6 to 9 and I focus on sales and he prints. I think that's what I would do. I would just hire a guy to do, or a guy or a girl to do stuff that you don't love doing and just go from there. That would be what I'd say. Andy?
That's good.
I guess the question for you, Andy, is would you, if you know everything you know now, would you just stay having a side hustle, or not side hustle, but your main hustle be working from home with your auto and not get out and do shirt Kong like in a big space? Or would you just stay there and just collect your money and be happy?
I think that when I was younger, so I started out of my garage in my 20s, and I think that, you know, what I wanted in my 20s is so different than maybe what I want now. And so I think that, and also the grass was always greener. So I thought that, you know, oh my gosh, you know, like, of course I dreamt of a shop. I dreamt of an actual, you know, real shop. I shouldn't say that because my garage was a real shop and you have a real shop. I meant like an actual retail location or an industrial location, whatever that was. I dreamt of that because I was a little too big for being out of our garage at some point. I think it was maybe year 3. It was obnoxious because I had semis back down because it was a dead end. They would actually back down and unload pallets and stuff. And I had people coming over to the house, you know, I had a phone book ad, and I was trying to like do everything I could without getting, you know, shut down, which I can't believe I wasn't. Our neighbor was a police officer, and I was in good with him. And so he actually helped me sometimes. And so maybe that helped, but you know, it was a friend of mine. But I mean, it was like, I didn't want to, I wanted to stay small. I wanted to stay in my garage, like, cause financially, but I knew that, oh my gosh, I have to get a spot. I want to have more employees. I want to have more presses, and I want to be bigger, but I really didn't even know what that meant. You know, so like I didn't know what it would feel like when I was bigger and had all that stuff. I didn't even know if I'd make more money. I assumed I would. But do I regret it? Zero regret. I'm so glad that I did. I'm so glad that I grew into what we are now. But it was not without a lot of pain, a lot of suffering, and a lot of struggle, and way out of my comfort zone. But that's where all the growth happens. And I mean, I've grown as a person so much because of all that stuff. I don't regret it at all. If I could choose to do one or the other right now, though, and so because I've learned all of this stuff, and so like just to start over, Dylan, you were saying you'd start a business over. Like if I were to start a screen printing shop over again, no fucking way do I start a shop with intentions to have several autos and tons of employees. There's just no way. Not anymore, because times are different. You know, when I started, it was a long time ago. These days, though, having
you can have 5 heat presses in your basement and do DTF every day.
I started with no internet. Like when I started, I mean, it's a totally different time. And so I think
there were horses and buggies when Andy started.
So like, yeah, of course, it's like it's my recipe.
Printing by lantern.
Yeah, there's no blueprint ever that you can follow of a shop because the times are different now. You know, like it's whatever my success story would have been won't work for somebody else. You know what I'm saying? Because it's just a totally different time. And so if I were to start over right now, though, there's no way I'm gonna be a large or a big shop. I'm a small shop, 100%. no doubt about it. I'm just a small ass shop. At this point, there's just no turning back because so many people depend on it. There's like, you know, people's you know, livelihood depends on the success of this place. It's its own entity. It's its own separate thing. It's like its own, like it's a beast, you know, it's totally different. So, I mean, yeah, that's my answer is I would just say small, especially with the recession, especially with inflation, especially with labor market, especially with supply, the whole fucking thing. Like,
technology.
Huh?
With technology now too,
Yeah.
like what you can do with so much less.
Mm-hmm. So there you go. There's my answer.
It brings up an interesting point though too, like you mentioned, like in reality with anybody, any business, like what is the point? Like what are we chasing? Like you don't know till you get there, but realistically, like why do we have to get bigger? Like is it the money really? Because like the more you grow, the more expenses you have. Like yeah, you might make some more, but like you're losing so much more of your own time and your own stress and like all this other stuff. Like well, there, I don't know. It just you never expect there to be a ceiling. You always expect to be like, oh, let's just do the next thing. Let's do the next thing. Let's do the next thing. And then at some point, you're just like you said, it's a beast. You're like, I have to feed the beast, or it's going to eat me. So might as well just keep fucking going.
Keep feeding the beast.
You know what I mean? The only way you can get out is if you fucking sell it, or it burns, or whatever.
That maybe
like,
doesn't make sense. I don't know if that makes sense, but that's real. Like it's at some point you lose that sort of control of its growth. You know, it's beyond you. It's bigger than you. It's bigger than just Dylan, and it's bigger than just me right now.
Yeah.
You know, for sure. Yeah. I was on a walk this morning with my mom, and we were going through this one neighborhood, and it was kind of fancy. And there was this house, I don't know, millions of dollars of a house, and this whole neighborhood was. But I looked up and I was walking along, and Mom, it just like occurred to me that because I looked up at this house and I thought, you know, like, oh, they're probably some executive, you know, I just assumed this, right? They're probably some suit and tie, or who knows what they do. But I said, like, the thing I pursued, the thing that I decided to put my life's work into is so blue collar, and it takes such a fucking toll, and it's hot in here, for example, and there's ovens and dryers and there's labor involved, you know, all this stuff. And I like that because I like producing or making something that's tangible. Right. But at the same time, it's been so hard because like, I've been the person that's put in physical labor for all night long and stuff like that before. And it's great, you know, because I feel real accomplished about that. But I've spent so much time in the shop. And I think to myself, like, was that did I do the right thing? You know, like,
I think so. I think I'm happy as fuck doing this. Like, I'm so stoked that I like got so lucky to fall into this industry and grow with it. And it was kind of a funny story, and it happened on Friday. We had a new hire start this week, and it was her trial week. You know what I mean? Like, we always do the first week as a trial week, and then on Friday I'll sit with them and be like, hey, what do you think? Is this something you could see yourself doing for, you know, years or whatever? And like, I also am like, hey, you're not a fucking psychopath that's gonna murder us all. I guess you're hired. But it was funny talking to her. I asked her, me and Morgan were talking to her because we were all doing a job together. And I was like, how did your parents take you working here? Because she's new. She like just graduated college or whatever. And I was like, how did your parents take you working here? She's like, oh, my dad was cool with it, but my mom was like, nah. And I was like, what do you mean? And she's like, well, I applied at like a bunch of places or whatever. And she's like very artsy, and she likes what she likes and stuff. And I feel like it's a really good fit for her. But her mom is like thinking, you know, like, oh, I want her to like get this like really big job and like all this other stuff. And I was like, I guess she told her mom that like she had an interview here and got hired. And her mom was like, well, who else did you hear back from? And she's like, I don't know, whatever, this or whatever. And her mom was like, oh, did you get hired at any real places or whatever? And I was just like, that's so true. Like, I feel like I have a really successful business that makes a lot of money and does like all this stuff and employs like all these people. And I still to this day can go to any event, even if it's like something where everyone there knows me. I still feel like that like kid that gets pat on the head of like, oh, you print t-shirts, like, you know what I mean? They just assume like you're in your basement or it's this hobby job. It's like, dude, I fucking print for some of like the craziest shit. Like, you don't understand. Like, like this is a big company. Like it's a big deal. And it's like she had to like talk to her mom, like, Mom, you don't understand like what this place is or like what they do and like what it's entailed and what it's involved. I feel like screen printers in general just have that like little kid pat on the head feel anytime they talk about like what they do.
Yeah. And it's like, if she enjoys, you know, the atmosphere and the artistic side of doing it, you know, that could be way more rewarding than going to some other job where it's, you know, working 9 to 5, but you're, you know, not happy with, you know, the person that runs the business or whatever. It's like half the time it's just the atmosphere and, you know, if you enjoy going to work or not.
Right. And I mean, it's like Chris, he's my best friend. And like, I obviously wanted to hire him first, but like, he has a fucking master's degree and he works here. And it's like, he had the option to like sell insurance. Like he was going to work for some big insurance company. And like, I think he was like through the interview process, like it was like a couple things. And then he decided, fuck that, I want to work with you.
Well, I think there's something to be said for small business. Like personally, I want to work for a small business, or I want to work in a small business. I don't want to be in a giant, you know, 500 person company. I love small business. And I think that a lot of people who apply here and a lot of people who end up working here, even if they're degreed, like you just said, whether it's some bachelor's or a master's or whatever, I think a lot of people do it for experience. I know somebody that is similar to what you just said, and they graduated and they decided, you know, to take a job here. And maybe they won't stay here for 5 years or 10 years or whatever. But I think that's what a lot of people are doing right now. A lot of people are going to places for the experience, for the culture or the atmosphere or what it's like there. You know what I mean? And just because you take a job, just like if that girl could have taken a job, just like Connor said, she could have taken a job at a larger company, let's say, that was real or whatever her mom, you know, said. And
fucking real.
But it could have been
so fun.
She could have been just a number there, and she could have been treated like shit, and she could have had zero opportunity to I don't know, grow and advance into some other role or position. Like here, I guarantee you, wherever you start, and even at the lowest spot, like if you're good and you show that you have like you're reliable and that you problem solve and that you get shit done, and you're gonna do good. You're gonna do well. Not only are you gonna get promoted into different roles when they open up, you're gonna get paid more. Like I literally will come grab you and say, like, you're kicking so much ass, and thank you so much for that.
You probably shouldn't grab people. It's 2022, bud.
Well, maybe that's part of the problem, or maybe they like that. But I'm serious, man. Like, when you see somebody, like if you see somebody that's doing, that's standing out and going beyond expectations, don't just take that for granted. Like, I'm getting my money's worth out of them or anything like that. Like actually say, you know, I sit down with them and say, thanks so much for doing that. Like like I said, and I appreciate it. And whenever I give them that bump or that, boost in pay, they always say thank you, and I oh, actually you deserve it. You know, thank you.
Yeah. Well, the funny thing is like we had this discussion on Friday, and in reality, it was like her first day. She was like really quiet, and like me and Brian at the end of the day were like, I don't know, man. Like she was really like, I don't know. She was really quiet, and it didn't seem like she was having that much fun because it was her first day, and like. It was Monday too. So like we weren't really doing anything crazy. We were just kind of like getting back into the week. And then like every day she kind of like warmed up more. And then it was funny, like Tuesday she warmed up more, and we actually had some artwork projects for her to do because she's going to do some design work for us too. So she was like excited to do that because that's like what she's really good at. And then Wednesday, it was funny. Like we did Grill and Wednesday. So like she was here for the whole like shop, you know, culture thing of like she brought a dish to pass, and we were laughing and we were eating and having a good time. And then by Thursday I felt like she was like one of the group. Like, you know, she was joking with everybody, she was standing up, and we were all talking in the office and all this other stuff. And then, yeah, it was Friday. She was like helping us out in the shop and, you know, cracking jokes and everything else. And we even had some meetings with Kevin where she's in like a part of now to do like some of the sales stuff. And she fucking wrote like this whole report basically on the notes she took with the Kevin meeting and like sent them to everyone in like Google shared folder. And like, I didn't even ask her to do that. She was just like, here's what I think. And like, here's like what we could do, or here's the task that I can take on if you want me to. And I was just like, fuck yeah. So for her to tell me at the end of the week that like her mom said this wasn't a real job, I was just kind of like, let's show your mom that this is a real fucking job. Like, I hope you do really good. And I can do, like you said, Andy, like grab her and be like, hey, you're doing really well. And like give her more and more pay and like have her grow here and like be really proud to be here. So yeah, I'm pretty stoked on it. I'm excited for tomorrow.
Yeah. It sounds like she's working out for you guys and she's kind of joining the group and the crew. And yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome. Do you have any more questions for us?
I mean, I have quite a few, but you guys can kind
of two of your favorites.
Let's see. Do you guys ever ship internationally or cross country? I had someone that works on an Air Force base in a different country, and they said, you know, we'd love for you to do these shirts for us. How do you guys do that, or is that something I should steer away from?
Yeah, we do it quite a bit. I mean, as long as they're willing to pay the shipping, it's fine. Usually, honestly, anytime it's international, and as long as it's not, if it's Canada, we'll still ship UPS. But anywhere else, like the UK, Australia, whatever, anything like that, we usually ship with the post office. It's way cheaper.
Okay.
Definitely get the insurance, but the post office, it's not that bad. It's really, I would quote it out with UPS and USPS and see what the difference is, but as long as you pay for the insurance to make sure that if they lose it, you're covered, it's not a big deal. We do it all the time.
Okay.
The Air Force ones are tricky, though, because you have to have like a really specific address. We've done that a bunch, too. Usually you ship it somewhere in the States, and then the actual like Air Force or whatever, like, or wherever it's going, like, they take care of it.
Oh, I see.
But it's got to be really specific and like what person it's going to and all this other stuff.
Yeah, maybe that's something I suggest to them if they go through with the order, is see if I could ship it somewhere, you know, in the US, and then they take care of it. Maybe they can ship it cheaper than I could or something.
Yeah.
Next question. Quoting on your website or having your customer email you with a questionnaire or something. I've toyed around the idea with having, you know, a quoting tool on my website where someone can see, you know, 24 shirts with a one color print is going to cost this much. Pros and cons to both, because sometimes it's like if they can see a price on my website, I feel like I'm more likely to get that order than if they have to reach out, wait for me to reply. Just both your guys' input on both options.
I know what I want to say, Andy, but do you want to go?
Oh, if you know, go for it.
I think it depends on you. It depends on if you're good at getting back to people. I think if you're good at getting back to people, I would definitely just do like an inquiry form on your website that gets emailed to you, and then you talk to them about pricing, because most of the time they don't know what they want. They know they need t-shirts, but they don't know like what shirt or what material or what's best for them, or the possibility of you doing an upsell or anything like that. If they do the automatic quote on the website, they're probably going to pick the cheapest option, the cheapest whatever. Mm-hmm. And then when they get their shirts, they're probably going to be a little bit disappointed. So I think any personal touch on like the customer service side, where like you get the gist of the information from them, and then you take that with your expertise and be like, well, I'd actually recommend doing this and so on. And what about relabeling or whatever? And then you end up upselling and, you know, all this other stuff. Not that I'm saying it's all about the sale, but you get a better feel with having a conversation with the customer than if you just did like a generic pricing order form on the website. And that's just black and white. It is what it is.
Yeah.
But if you suck at getting back to people, then having them place an order is better than having them not place an order.
I would say don't suck at getting back to people. That's for sure. And, figure out a way so that you're back to them the same day that you receive that contact. That's 100% one reason why you're going to get the order is just your responsiveness. And then two, I would never, and I have never posted our pricing on our website. And here's why. Sort of like what Dylan said, there's a lot that goes into quoting. And I want to be able to find out what's most important to them. And Kevin with Set Sales will actually tell you the same thing because he's reinforced it to our team right now. And that is like, what's most important to them? If price is most important, well, then we're the wrong place. But if it's that, hey, do we need somebody that's going to for sure hit our deadline, or we need somebody that can provide me with this sort of art, or, these sort of things. I want to find out how we can exactly help them. And then I want to be able to tell them that, I want to be able to tell them, not from our, because this is another Kevinism, not from our point of view, but from our customer's point of view that, look, hey, we hear from our customers tell us this, that we're good at this kind of thing. And the last thing I would say is I want to qualify them. I want to know is, do they need 50 shirts, 100 shirts, or is this for 1,000 shirts or 500 shirts? It's for 500 shirts. That's sort of going to be our threshold that we think it's going to be a situation where we're going to reach out to them in a different way, not just a reply in an email,
a Zoom
like,
call
hey,
or something.
Yeah, like we're going to say, oh, you're looking for 800 shirts for this event or whatever, and you're going to have this event 4 times a year or 10 times a year or whatever, well, that's a customer we want. And so we want to be able to more than just reply with an email. We want to say like a whole package, like a real, like Dylan just said, either a phone call where we can, call them and say, hey, Jess, do you have a second to discuss this quote? And then hit send, and then they can look at the quote and we can go over it and ask them if they have any other questions about it or anything like that, just so they can hear us and that, we're responsive, we're smart, we're capable, and we want to print their shit. And so I think that just posting up your pricing, then you don't get to have any sort of that communication. I want to establish that, hey, we're good at communication. We're here to win your business, and we're here to help you. And how can we help you? Precisely.
I feel like the difference between us, all 3 of our shops, and like a custom ink and stuff is that you're dealing with an actual person and a company, and you're going to them for their brand or their capabilities or whatever. I feel like if you are just looking for shirts for like a bar mitzvah or a party or whatever, like, yeah, that's why Custom Ink is what they are. Is you just go on their online tool and do it all and pay, and it shows up at your door. That's not us. That's not what we do.
Yeah. I thank you guys for both those answers. I think you're right. Having that personal touch and being able to talk to them. What I usually do, I mean, it seems nice because whenever I talk to someone, they say, wow, you really know like what you're talking about. I don't want that boxy shirt. I want that little bit softer. And I say, okay, yeah, you can, a Bella Canvas is, a pretty good brand for that. And it's going to cost a little bit more, but I think you're going to have your people wearing your shirts more. And that's ultimately what you guys want. So being able to talk to them, I think, that's nice. Maybe what I should add, I think I remember someone in one of the episodes was talking about having automatic reply that says, just so you know, we're human just like you. We'll get back to you in 24 hours or 12 hours, whatever it is. But, we got your information and we'll be with you shortly.
Yeah, for sure. Do you have any shop hacks that you want to talk about?
I learned all my shop hacks from you guys, but a couple. Just that soundproof box for my compressor. Before I wouldn't be able to take a phone call when I was using the auto. I would have to, run over to the compressor, shut it off really quick, take the phone call, and then I'm pretty much stopped. And, so having my headphones in, running the auto, compressors on, I can talk to them. That's been pretty nice. I think someone said it, but I use a lot of those Harbor Freight magnetic shelves and can holders and stuff. I slap those on different things, and that's nice and convenient. I use capillary film over emulsion. So maybe new shops starting out, if emulsion's being difficult for you. I was having a tough time getting an even coat. And I was having a bunch of those dots, and then my exposing time was all over the place. So, using capillary film has been nice, easy for me to work with. I don't have to let the screens dry. It's, the screen's wet, and I, get all the excess water off and put capillary film on, let it dry for a couple hours, and it's good to go.
Yeah, I think you won't be doing that anymore once you get a better exposure unit. Once you can really dial things in, you should get away from that. Not that there's anything wrong with doing that. I'm just saying that once you get a bigger exposure, you can dial things in better, get a better emulsion, and also you can get your tri-lock. So
can't you really control your EOM with capillary film?
Yeah, because it's perfect. It's just a sheet.
Yeah. Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, it's worked well for me. The only thing I can't do is water base and discharge with it. For whatever reason, it just eats through the capillary film. And I talked to Richard at Ulano, and he said, there's not really a good capillary film that you can do water based with. So if I ever want to get into that, market, I should start learning a little bit more about emulsion.
Yeah, you get there. Talk to Kevin at Chromaline or watch his videos on YouTube. Quick take, Sandy?
Yes, sir.
I also can't see them because they're on my phone.
So how are we going to do this?
You just ask them.
Oh. Here, I'll whisper them to you. So here we go. Ready? I'm the first one. All right, Connor, one thing that helps you get through your day.
Well, obviously listening to Shirt Show, that gets me through my days. But no, really, sometimes I'll throw on a episode from a couple years ago or whatever and throw it in and learning some new stuff. That's helpful. What do I need? Yeah, getting through my day, just music. I like to talk to a lot of friends too. I call people I haven't talked to in a long time and catch up. Basic stuff.
That's awesome. It's a good one. I haven't heard that one yet.
Yeah, like you're just on press and it's late at night or whatever, and it's monotonous, and you just jump on a phone call.
Yeah, just keep my AirPods in and call a friend that I haven't talked to in 6 months or so, and they're always happy to hear from me, and I'm always happy to talk to them. So that's kind of fun.
And then your compressor kicks on, and they're like, "What the fuck?" Or not anymore.
Yeah.
All right, Dylan. 2 presses or 10 presses?
Hey, Connor. 2 presses or 10 presses?
I'm going with the 2 presses. Yeah, keeping up with 1 is kind of hard right now, but I couldn't imagine having 10 presses right now.
Yeah, for sure.
Test the waters or dive in the deep end?
Dive in the deep end. Yeah, getting the auto, I didn't know if I was going to have the business for it or if I was going to, how that was going to work. So definitely diving in the deep end.
I like it. All right. And so this is Dylan's, one of his favorite questions, and you can't ask it, which is a huge bummer, but what are you watching right now?
Watching right now. Right now, I don't really watch a whole lot, being working all the time, but just finished Ozark, which was good. Ozark was good. And then if I'm eating dinner or something, sometimes I'll just throw on Shark Tank or something simple where I don't need to follow it. A quick episode of Shark Tank, get me in the mood for printing some shirts late at night. And
yell at the screen every so often.
Yeah. No, but Ozark was good. Did you guys both see it?
I haven't finished it yet.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the weirdest thing is I think we have 2 episodes left, and then we got involved with Stranger Things and then so many other stuff. And so I didn't finish it either. And Joanne doesn't want to finish it. Stresses her out.
Yeah, it's
but it is good.
Yeah.
All right, what's for Din Din?
We're going to go, me and my girlfriend and my family, we're going to go out to a local restaurant, celebrate me being on Shirt Show.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's a Sunday, and I print the shirts for this restaurant that we're going to go to. So it's always fun seeing how the shirts are doing. They have everything: salads, burgers, sandwiches. There's like 3 or 4 nice kind of upscale restaurants in my little town, and this is one of them. It's called Red's at the Sky Room. It's actually right at the we have a little airport right in town, so you get to look over at the little airport and watch the planes take off and stuff. It's pretty cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Dylan?
Andy, what are you having there?
Yeah, I was just going to ask you, what am I having? I don't know. I usually know, but man, you know what we've been having a lot, and that's just Shake Shack. I mean, you can't go wrong.
Have you really?
Yeah, like so many times. It's just so fucking good. It's brand new right by our house. I mean, we have other ones in St. Louis, but it's so convenient.
Do you pick it up and take it home, or do you eat there?
One time I got it for the shop. But otherwise, all the other times we've eaten it there.
That's cool.
I got a Wegmans sub waiting for me.
There you go.
Yeah. Connor, you guys don't have Wegmans. I'm sorry.
Nope. We got In-N-Out. You guys have In-N-Out over there?
I mean, a different kind of In-N-Out, but yeah.
Yeah.
Dylan, when I visit,
I had In-N-Out once. It was one of those things. Like I literally got into LAX and then went to the first In-N-Out to like have In-N-Out, and I was not impressed. Well, I think the biggest thing was because everyone told me to get animal style everything basically, and like my burger was like covered in it, and then my fries were covered in it, and it just ruined it for me. It was just like nah. I feel like if I was to go there again, I would just get a regular burger and fries and like just have that.
Yeah. Yeah, we don't have one in my town because we're pretty small.
In, like,
but
whatever it is, Thousand Island dressing and onions.
Yeah. Sometimes it's overhyped a little bit, especially if you haven't been to one and everyone says, "Oh, it's the greatest thing in the world," and you get there and it's like, yeah.
I don't know. I'm a fan. I'm a huge fan of In-N-Out. It's really good. Maybe you just got the wrong stuff. I mean, Dylan doesn't like condiments, so what the fuck are you getting animal style for?
Exactly.
Connor, congrats on the auto. And thanks for chatting with us today. I hope to make it. I want to come visit that whole area. We were in Sonoma, but we never made it north of there. But it doesn't sound like you're too far. So I'd love to come visit you, though, sometime.
Yeah,
so
come in the summertime or in the fall, and we'll get you out on a boat and show you the lake and show you my little shop. And yeah.
So what, next week, Andy? We're free, right?
Totally. Yeah.
Come on out.
For sure. So yes, see you in a few days.
Yeah. No, but I really do. I really appreciate everything you guys do. It's it's just starting out of my parents' garage and working my way to my own garage. I listen to you guys, and you guys really have been helpful. So I thank you guys.
Thank you, dude. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Happy to help, man.
Cool, guys. Well, thank you very much.
Man. Have a good night.
All right. Bye, guys.
Yeah.